Little Senior Bowl recap.
Yeah, I want to hear all about it. I heard Spencer Rattler won the MVP.
I was so happy for Spencer. You know, I've talked about Spencer a lot. The maturation level, and again, this is a guy that we got to talk to on the field, of seeing him go from Oklahoma to South Carolina. Not that he was a bad person before, but you saw somebody grow, take on a leadership role, be able to not only embrace adversity, but overcome it. You never heard him complain. South Carolina's offensive line, to be honest with you, was hot dog water last year. You couldn't block for the run. You couldn't pass protect. Spencer was out there running for his life in a year where he knows he's going to get a chance to play in the NFL, where he could have shut it down and said, you know what, I don't want to get hurt. It isn't worth it. Let's get the young guy, Lenore Sellers, in here. Let him play a little bit. That's not what he did. He took control of that team, right? He owned everything. He went out there and gave 110% every game, and he was a leader. And talking to him on the field, you can really see a guy that has gone through a maturation process, and I was so happy to see him have a successful week. I thought he was the best-looking quarterback there.
Really?
I thought he was the best-looking quarterback there. He won MVP at the game, and I'm really excited to see Spencer go to the next level. It's a guy we'd love to have on the show. I got to have a great conversation with him, which we're going to release on our YouTube channel here shortly, but was very happy to see him play well. I tell you what, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Being able to add the juniors to this game changes everything to me. Like the level of competition, there was not a bad rep in one-on-ones, whether it was offensive line, defensive line, whether it was wide receivers and DBs. And when I looked at the way it was structured, you know, the game was good, but what I really liked was, you know, the access you get to the players. But some guys that really stood out. Ricky Pearsall, to me, out of Florida, is going to make a quarterback in the NFL very happy as a rookie. Him and Roman Wilson, I think, they're built different, right? But they're kind of in the same nuance. They're both really smooth. The way they set up DBs, they may not be the most athletic person on the rep, but they mentally beat everyone they go against. The Fisk guy out of Florida State had a huge week. I believe he was the one that had to transfer teams the day of the game, which has never happened before in the Senior Bowl. But, you know, Blaine, I was just very impressed with the level of competition out there.
Look, first of all, the week was phenomenal. Jim Nagy does a great job. A couple guys that I looked out and saw. One, James Williams from Miami.
Yeah, God.
The safety from Miami. Who's every bit of 6'5", 220 pounds.
Really?
Was the scariest thing I saw the entire week. And can run. That's one guy on defense. We flipped to the other side. Spencer Rattler is absolutely phenomenal. Lad McConkey just cooked everybody the entire week. Cody Schrader.
Yeah.
I mean, he is going to be a 3-down back in the NFL. Like
he's more Austin Eckler than Blake
everything
Corum to
he
me.
did was it was smooth, it was correct. His fundamentals, his feet, picking up blocking, catching routes out of the backfield. I think Cody Schrader is going to be an extremely, kind of reminds me of the old boy from Michigan.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I think he's actually got a little bit more quick twitch than Blake Corum, even though Blake Corum's built more like Austin Eckler. I think Cody Schrader is a little bit more diverse when it comes to his skill set. One of the coolest parts about going to the Senior Bowl and being on the field is you get to actually see the size of these guys. Cody Schrader is little, but hell, you can hide behind offensive linemen. If you're going to be little, right, but stocky, running back's a hell of a position to do it because you can hide behind those offensive linemen. But you talk about James Williams. This is one of the most physically gifted individuals that's that big that I've seen. He can change direction. He can flip his hips. He's going to be a down safety in the league, but he is longer than a Harry Potter book, but he's not thin. He's not rail thin. He's put together really well. Peyton Wilson from NC State, the linebacker, and then Knight, the linebacker from UTEP. I'm going to tell y'all right now that this kid out of UTEP, I say kid, he's a grown man. I thought, in my opinion, he was the best looking linebacker all week. Like, he's that talented. I remember watching him play a little bit last year, but the way he can come downhill, I was interested to see him in pass coverage, and I thought he was really good. He's not the quickest, but he knows how to leverage guys, right? My father was an All-American middle linebacker at Auburn, played in the NFL, and he had one of the greatest quotes of all time when it comes to 40 times, playing Mike. You know, it's good to be fast, but if you have to run 40 yards to catch somebody at middle linebacker, I don't want your ass.
You already didn't do your job.
Yeah, that's the truth. So, but it was just a fantastic weekend. I hate to say this, David, we went to Bluegill twice.
Oh, twice?
I'll tell you what.
Good. Y'all good.
I've been to the beaches of Normandy, all right, in France, and had oysters. I don't know if there's a better oyster out there than a Rockefeller oyster from bluegill. I don't know if it exists.
I just got hungry.
Zach, who was with us,
Yeah.
I need to get Matt
First time
Walsh
Zach
that.
had
I know
oysters?
Matt's not. Zach had oysters for the first time, and that was the
Really?
first one he had. Hooked.
Hooked?
Hooked.
Yeah.
Hooked. It's like giving a kid a piece of candy for the first time, right? Like, I know Matt Walsh, not big on oysters. He had a Rockefeller oyster from bluegill. I think it might change his mind.
On the Spencer Rattler front, man, I'm just so proud of this kid's growth. And
Yeah.
you can hear it when he speaks, too, not just on the field. He really owns his pass, so it was great to see him win MVP. This is what the Senior Bowl is for a guy like that who has grown over the years, who maybe didn't play behind an excellent offensive line, had some trials and tribulations on the field with what he had to go through at South Carolina and Oklahoma. The Senior Bowl is a perfect opportunity to step up and have a dominant week of practice in a game. So for him to win MVP was awesome.
Yeah, and I want to say this too. A lot of people are down on the week that Bo Nix had.
That's what I was going to ask about.
And Michael Penix Jr. I think Spencer Rattler, the most impressive thing about what Spencer Rattler did is that he didn't have chemistry outside, with Xavier Legette, who's a good-looking cat too, if we're going to talk about wide receivers that can play. You don't have chemistry with these guys. So being able to play well at the Senior Bowl, it's kind of an extra notch in the belt. But I'm not knocking Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. because if you see it with your eyes, you can tell that these guys haven't worked together a lot. Anticipatory throwing, right? The routes are very simple. Okay, we're not saying it's overcomplicated, but it's that the reason you throw in the spring and in the summer, right, and indoors in the winters to build that chemistry, to know how guys run routes, to know how guys get in and out of breaks. So I was more watching fundamentally how the ball came out of their hand. Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix are going to be fine. If you're panicking over them, don't do it. Once they have time to go in and build chemistry with these guys wherever they end up, they're going to be fine. So I thought there was a little bit of overreaction.
I don't think
Joe Milton is who we thought he was, though.
Yeah, no one's surprised by this, especially
You listen
on
to
this
us,
show.
we've been telling you this.
Especially on this show, but I don't think any quarterback, I think the only quarterback who really helped his stock was Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think any quarterback out there really hurt their stock. Though I don't think Michael Penix is going to fall. I don't think Bo Nix is going to fall. I think Spencer might move up. I don't think there's a phenomenal performance by any quarterback this weekend other than Spencer Rattler.
Did Michael Penix Jr. not play in the game?
Well, he didn't, but it's, again, let's be honest. And I want, the game is the least important thing that happens all week. All right, it's the least important. Most of the scouts are gone by the time the game is played. They want to see the practice. They want to be able to get close. They want to be able to see the one-on-ones, and it's more structured and things like that. So the week is the thing that's the most important. The game, I thought Spencer Rattler did, he won MVP of the game, but the most important thing he did was all week. That's what I think. So, again, it's the game. I love it. Going to it, it was sold out. It was a phenomenal atmosphere. You should go to the game. But we all know the practices are the most important part. Hey, YouTube, what's up? We are almost to 120,000 subs. Let's get there. Let's go ahead and blow that thing up to 200. So if you haven't subscribed yet, if you enjoy the content, or you're just a good Samaritan, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turn those notifications on.